Welcome in, everyone. I want to thank everyone for their patience. I know I've been sick this week. I probably still sound kind of crappy, but I figured I'd try to get out there, do the best I can with this video. So just bear with me on it. Also want to thank Dynasty Pandemic Clay from Dynasty Trades in 5 for this new overlay up top. I think it looks sexy. We have Dynasty Trade Breakdown today. I have 7 Dynasty trades. All of them came from the Patreon, from my Patreon Discord, and we're going to discuss and break down these trades. So let's jump into the first one. First one here, 1 quarterback PPR. Offered Love and the 24-108 for Burrow and the 203. Now, usually in 1 QB, I'd prefer the higher pick, but this trade's almost dead even. Let's look at it. Burrow, I value near the 108, and Love near the 203. So it's pretty equal on both sides. I think for flexibility's sake, I would take the 108. And this just kind of goes to show you why it's hard to take a quarterback above 109 or 110 in a 1 QB rookie draft. Joe Burrow is not even worth more than the 108. So what's the upside in taking quarterback really in the first round at all? Caleb Williams will probably be 110 for me in this year's class-ish. So yeah, just an insight into my thinking. And of course, on the Patreon, I have a rookie pick scale. So you can see how I evaluate players compared to picks in both 1 QB and Superflex. But I think that's kind of all I had to say about this one. Next one here, and I thought this one was interesting, because usually I insist on a format when reading trades on the show, but this one I think is interesting to discuss from 2 perspectives. So Jamar Chase or 102, I have 101. That doesn't matter. We focus on, value. I don't care what other picks you have. And 25 first should be decently early. Again, a note on that. Saying a 25 first is early is highly risky. Sometimes you can tell, but most of the time I'm unwilling to do that kind of projection this far in advance. Let's take a look at this, though, from Superflex and 1 QB. 1 QB, I think it's still the Chase side. I love Malik Neighbors, who's going to be the 102 in 1 QB. He's not Marvin Harrison Jr. He's not Caleb Williams in Superflex. So Chase is just a guarantee. I think I'd lean Chase in 1 QB. But in Superflex, if we're talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. plus a 25 first, I think I'd have to take it. I mean, it's a lot. I wouldn't pay it for Chase. So in this case, the Superflex versus 1 QB makes the difference for me. Yeah, sorry, I know I'm struggling through these, but we're gonna get through it. Superflex, 206 or Rachaad White. So I think this trade's a good example of why the Patreon just gives a value add that I can't do on the YouTube. So on the YouTube, I've talked about Rachaad White as a sell a lot. 3.7 and 3.6 yards per carry each of his 2 seasons. No efficiency. Hasn't had any competition in the backfield this year. That's going to change. It's going to be someone better than Chase Edmonds or Sean Tucker coming in. With all that said, though, Rachaad White is worth more than 206. I'd rather Rachaad White over any running back in this class. There's not going to be a running back in this class who is better than Rachaad White or worth more than Rachaad White. So he's worth more than 206, period. I mean, he's going to be their starter next year. There'll be a compliment. He's going to share work, but he's going to be their starter. In Superflex, my pick value chart values White between the 112 and 201, which feels actually about right. Like, realistically, that number 1 probably means I don't want to pay the 112. The 2 in front of the 201 suddenly seems pretty fair. I'd probably personally want to go down to the 202 before buying Rachaad White, but it's the right range. 206, though, easily Rachaad White. This next one, I just wanted to include this because not every trade's hard. I don't get this one. Bijan Robinson versus Javonte Williams in the 112. Bijan Robinson so easily. Raheem Morris, in his opening press conference, went out of his way to mention that the reason he's so excited about the offense, Bijan Robinson and Drake London, notably not Kyle Pitts. It just goes to show that Morris knows that he has one of the best running backs in the league. He's a solid wide receiver 1. He's going to get them involved. I'm not worried about Bijan Robinson's involvement. I talked about how Morris on the coaching episode and new offense coordinator Zach Robinson, great hires there. We saw how LA, where Robinson came from, the Rams, used their running backs, Kyron Williams, workhorse. Robinson's my RB1 in Dynasty, even now. So Javonte Williams is my RB19. This is not a close trade. The 112 is outside the premium range for this draft. Goes down to 7 in Superflex, ending at Brock Bowers and Rome Odunze. After that, we're talking about speculative assets. It's a good class, very deep, but flat. The difference between the 109 and the 205 might not be that much. The 112 is kind of in that milieu or malaise or whatever. So yeah, easily the Bijan Robinson side here. Next one, Tank Dell in the 110 or the 102. 10-team Superflex. So I love Dell. He's an older prospect though. And he got injured down the stretch. Nico Collins absolutely balled out. I think I prefer Nico Collins over Tank Dell in Dynasty. He's younger. And he's showed out a little bit more consistently throughout this season. The Texans also have an insane amount of cap space. Could they bring in T. Higgins? Oh, absolutely. I mean, they could bring in somebody. Certainly, whoever it is, it's going to be better than Robert Woods, John Mechie, Xavier Hutchinson, Noah Brown. It's going to be an upgrade at wide receiver 3 over those guys. So, essentially, you're looking at probably Marvin Harrison Jr. or it's a 10-team Superflex Caleb Williams if someone takes Harrison Jr. number 1, or Tank Dell on 110. One of those things is a premium asset. The other are good assets, but not premium. So I'm going to have to stick with the 102 side here. If it were 103, I think it would be pretty much spot on, but much more fair. 102, easily that side. Next one, kind of similar. 1 QB, 101 or Rashee Rice in 25 first. I don't think this one's that close. Kind of similar to the last trade. We're essentially looking at Rashee Rice in 25 first or Marvin Harrison Jr. I like Rice a little bit more than Dell. Not that much. But I just can't give up Marvin Harrison Jr. for this. I don't think it's good enough. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a generational talent. He'd be one of the best, the best wide receiver prospect to come out in a while. I mean, maybe since like Julio Jones. I mean, it's been a long time since there's been this much of a sure thing. And even Jamar Chase was not as good of a prospect as Marvin Harrison Jr. So, yeah, it's 101 for me. But, how good of a wide receiver, I think that's something interesting to think about. How good of a wide receiver would it have to be? Is like even Drake London and 25 first, I don't think is enough. I think you got to get above that. If you get to Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk, even maybe, or Puka Nacua and 25 first, maybe then. But Rashee Rice and 25 first, I don't know about that. I'll stick with the 101 there. Last one, Flowers, 12-team Superflex. No, tight end premium, not tight end premium. Flowers on 111 or LaPorta. I've got Pitts too. Again, other players on the team rarely affect my ranking, so Pitts doesn't really move the needle for me one way or another. In this case, I think I'm going to lean towards Zay Flowers. In non-tight end premium, Sam LaPorta is a premium asset, but he's not the same advantage as he is in a tight end premium. Him and Flowers are close. I have LaPorta ahead, but him and Flowers are close. Therefore, the 111, it's going to be a good player. I'm not super excited about it, but it's going to be a good player. It's going to be someone worth something. Tips it over for me to the Flowers side. So I'm going to go with the Flowers side here. That was my last trade. So, I appreciate everyone for sticking with me. I know I sound like crap, but I'm just trying my best to get something out there for you guys. Additionally, if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That's the best way to support the channel. Of course, Patreon up there, patreon.com/fantasy advice. You get my full rankings, trade value chart, rookie ranks, and all of that, plus DM advice in the Patreon Discord. Of course, always follow me on Twitter at TylerFFCreator to see all of my content. But until next time, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Peace out.